Welcome to The Clown is Down, Dragoncon edition. This is Keith.
And this is Pete. And today on this episode, we're going to be discussing Dragoncon with some of our friends, some of our Dragoncon veteran friends. This will be the first in a few episodes we're going to do on the Almighty. It's back this year, 2021. We're getting Dragoncon back, so we decided to drag in some of our friends and discuss the con and what they think about it and what it means to them,
and some of the fun stuff to do at Dragoncon during that time.
On this episode, we'll teach you how to roll a natural 20 on navigating Dragoncon and maybe learn a few things about it too. Panels and guests and special moments that these people have had over the years at Dragoncon.
So go ahead and get ready to wait for an escalator. Escalator? I mean,
elevator.
So, let me try that. So go ahead and get ready.
So get in line for the panels. Hit your floor button on the elevator.
Yeah, get in line for the panels and get ready to wait on that elevator.
We're discussing Dragoncon on this episode of The Clown is Down.
Dragoncon edition.
Clown is Down. Dragoncon edition. Rawr. I can't see if I can convey a rawr. I don't know what a dragon sounds like. So
that sounds about right. Yeah.
All right,
that's what I imagine it would sound like. So let's get into it. And our first guest is Dave.
So we're talking here with Dave. Dave is he goes by the moniker Phantom Troublemaker. You guys may know him from that. He's also the host, of course, of Needless Things podcast that you're all listening to, as well as the Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. Dave, give us your thoughts on Dragoncon. You're a Dragoncon veteran. When was your first Dragoncon?
This has come up, and I've had a little trouble nailing it down. It would have been probably 93 or 94.
Wow.
My mom dropped me and my buddy Dan off at whichever hotel it was at the time.
The original one.
We didn't know. Well, see, I thought it was the Castlegate Hotel, but apparently there was a different convention that took place there that was part of what became Dragoncon, so that doesn't count.
Atlanta Fantasy Fest?
Yeah, or is it Fest or Fair? I don't know, whatever.
I got my bag
so
somewhere.
we did that one, and then later on, because that one wasn't quite downtown, like as far as I was concerned it was, because we lived out in the suburbs, but we got dropped off and basically only found the dealer's room. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what was going on. We just found the place to pay to get in and went in and found like some Doctor Who shit and had a great time just with, because, back then there's no eBay, there's no internet, there's no go online and order your Doctor Who action figures and stuff them all up your ass as long as you want. It was, that stuff was hard to get. Yeah.
You were digging through long boxes and going down underneath the tables, and
it was incredible. So that, but that's my really only memory. My first active memory of Dragoncon is either 96 or 97 when I was working at the Masquerade, but I saw the Misfits, I saw Gwar.
I was there with you when you met them because they pointed to your tattoo. I remember they were drawing Glenn Danzig on the table, like getting smashed in.
That was when we found Gwar.
Right.
Before
Gwar met you. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And we didn't know who they were at first, right?
They had none
they
of
didn't
their
have their
stuff
shit on. They were just people.
Yeah, and I think they like invited us to their room to like, and we were young, like we were like, they like wanted to hang out.
If it was 90, I believe this was 96.
Yeah,
because I think it was the same year as the Olympics. So we were like 20 years old, not just young lads, not even
babes.
Yeah. So that was, those 2 years combined are kind of my first real memories of actually going and experiencing Dragoncon.
Do you have any secret tips for Dragon Con for the people who haven't gone or go and maybe you've got your own tips?
This is gonna make me sound like such an old fucking man, but this is the absolute best tip / advice that I could give. Drink water constantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying don't get drunk. Get drunk if that's your thing. Carry your whiskey, your bourbon, your Fireball, whatever it is you like, but drink water constantly.
Absolutely.
That's to me, that's the key to enjoying Dragon Con. I'm not even kidding.
And I wonder how they're going to do it because there's water everywhere at Dragon Con.
I
wonder
don't know
how
if
they're
that's
going to
gonna be
do
the
that
case
this year.
year.
So,
Which I don't, I do refill because I do panels and stuff. So I'll
Right.
refill, like you go in the panel room and they've got the things. I'll refill my water bottle in there. I don't know what that situation is going to be this year. So
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of
you
faucets.
might have to plan a little more carefully to stay hydrated, but that's key. I know I'm 45 years old and I'm drying up and dying, but stay
Yeah.
hydrated, kids.
Lots of water. Pee it out. Pee it out. Just
Hydrating and gyrating.
What was your favorite moment? And
My favorite moment was the aforementioned Misfits show where the hot goth chick that I was trying to make out with at the Misfits show totally stone cold rejected me. That's my favorite moment.
that's your
No.
favorite
No,
moment.
that's not my favorite. My favorite moment is probably coming out onto an actual stage in an actual ballroom to do the game show for the first time. For the listeners, I used to host the Dirty Con game show, which was just filthy and offensive and repellent, but we had a blast, and we worked our fucking asses off to move from a track room, like a 175 person track room, over the years to a 600 plus capacity ballroom. But the first time we actually had a real stage in a ballroom and to walk out to do the game show on that moment was tops. Nothing's ever
awesome.
going to be bigger than that.
Do you have any favorite celebrity encounters? Dragon Con is full of celebrities.
Dude,
they
it's-
hang out at night. Any you can talk about.
It's tough to say because I've had the good fortune of doing panels with Ric Flair and Sting and Kane, and like obviously those are insane.
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy. I had a bathroom encounter with Nathan Fillion where we were both we had both gone in there to poop, and you know how Dragon Con is, the stalls were all full.
Mhm.
And
you shared a stall with Nathan Fillion?
and I did. We sat, you'd think we would have sat back to back, but we
No.
actually sat face to face.
He's a personable guy. I could see him doing that.
He sat in my lap and we had a double poo.
So he was the top pooper. All right.
Yeah. No, we were waiting for a stall, and he was clearly in a hurry and was like, "Come on, guys, we need to hurry it up in there. Some of us have things to do."
And I'll bet like the first person to walk out and see him that he was the guy like telling him to hurry.
I
up.
don't know if they even knew, honestly.
So Captain is telling people.
I was there in line before him, but when the stall opened up, I said, "You go right ahead."
Yeah, you've earned it.
Meeting Bobby Calabrese the first time in 2009 was pretty awesome because he was just, I had no idea who Calabrese was at the time, and he was just super, super nice, like really cool, nice guy.
I really wish they'd come back. They were fun.
I wish they would too, and I think they will. This year isn't going to be the year just because everything's so crazy, but I think they'll be back. Meeting some of the doctor. Okay, those are going to have to be the big ones. Meeting.
You can with Dragon Con, you can go on and on.
Well, and that's the thing is you can, but when I was a kid, Doctor Who, even now, Doctor Who is one of the greatest pop culture things ever to me. I adore Doctor Who. I was watching it since I was 7 years old, and I got to meet Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker, meeting doctors that I fucking grew up watching, and they were so nice and like so engaging with everybody. I got my Doctor Who action figures signed by these guys. Like, I wouldn't say it's the most significant interaction I've had, but it was the most mind-blowing, like took me back to being a little kid watching these guys on TV. Like, holy shit. Because, we have spoken about the Doctor Who action figures. Like when I was a kid, I wanted those desperately, and they just weren't here.
Right.
They weren't. So I never imagined all of the Doctor Who goodness that I've experienced since 2005.
It's crazy that we have DragonCon in Atlanta and that it is what it is, and that it's blown up to become what it's become.
By
it's great.
fans, for fans.
Yeah, we have, living where we live, we have lucked out, and being the type of people that we are, we have lucked out beyond belief.
Yes, because nothing else cool comes to Atlanta. Like seriously,
it really doesn't.
There are bands that don't come to Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And we get DragonCon, and it's great.
Yeah, and I'll take
funny,
it.
And it's funny being on forums and Reddit and all that. And you see these people, they're planning their entire year coming to your city, and it's not something we experience a lot here because honestly, nothing comes to Atlanta.
Right.
And I'm like, really, you guys want to come to Atlanta?
No,
okay.
That's me though. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't golf.
Yep.
I don't do that shit throughout the year. DragonCon is my all of that rolled into one. That's my time to go.
You're not going hunting with the boys for the weekend. Yeah, you're not going to Vegas. You're
right.
You want your weekend, and that's all you want.
And it's
that's
that
cool.
one weekend every year, and that is the one that I plan for.
Excellent. Well, Dave, thank you very much for talking about DragonCon with us. And again, where can we find you?
You can find the Needless Things podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, is available the first Friday of every month, where three pals who grew up loving G.I. Joe just talk about G.I. Joe.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. All right. So coming up next on the Clown Us Down special edition of the DragonCon podcast, we have Jay. Little known fact about Jay, he likes to back into his parking spots.
Yes, he does.
Unlike
You should.
his better half.
One half of Team Hornsby. Collusion abounds. What's going on, Jay? How are you?
Doing good, man. Just living life, getting ready for DragonCon. It's kind of crazy that it's coming up so quickly. Trying to get ready for DragonCon.
All DragonCon, all the time. Excellent. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Jay. How long have you been going to DragonCon? When was your first DragonCon?
It was actually with you, Pete, in 2001.
Yay.
We had moved to Atlanta, and I want to say March-ish of 2001. And then by the time DragonCon rolled around, we had met you, become friends. We were playing kickball, and you were just like, "Hey, there's this convention thing going on. Do you want to go?" It's like, "Sure." So like, we'll be a little late to kickball, no big deal. And that was my first DragonCon, and we were a lot late to kickball.
Yeah,
because we ended up staying most of the day. And even then, it was just like just kind of dipping your toe in, where I think we just hit the dealers' rooms. And at that time, the basement of the Marriott was like 2/3 dealers and then 1/3 celebrities.
right.
So we walked through, and I think for me, that was really one of the first times I had been to a convention with celebrities, because all the comic book conventions I'd gone to previously were just comic books.
Actually had comic books at them, which is honestly hard to find at DragonCon now. It's tough to find comics at DragonCon.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's like in the last time I saw them, you had to like really hunt for it. Like in the you'll see the long comic book boxes, but they'll be
Get through long boxes under table.
Yeah, the big ones I see now are like the half price trades, where you
Graphic novels, and they're just trying to burn inventory because they figure it's a convention and you're there to buy something. And I think that first one that you went to was, I think they were only at 2 hotels at that point. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was either 1 or 2, because all the dealers were in one for sure, because we were like on 1 floor, and then when we went to the basement, and I think that was pretty much it. Definitely no panels, definitely no nothing else. It wasn't until I think the next year, when you, me, and Noel went, that at night stuff started. And then the following year after that, then it just ballooned, and room parties and all the craziness.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
I think that was our mid Sparks adventure, right in that that time period. Well, what does the Dragon Con experience mean to you, Jay? Like you and you go with your family, and that it's a family affair for you guys now. So, what does the Dragon Con experience mean to Team Hornsby?
Yeah, it certainly has changed quite a bit. Those early years were, we did have a couple Sparks years in there. There was a lot of room parties, a lot of
Not
night
room parties.
Yeah, there are a lot of shenanigans. But when my daughter, my oldest, got old enough, we took her to her first one, and hers was crazy for her. So, like, her first year, she won a kid trivia contest, first place. She won a Buffy lookalike contest, first place. Dressed as Buffy, she got photos with like a couple members of the Buffy cast and Doctor Who, and so like her first year was like the perfect Dragon Con, and like I had to explain to her like this isn't going to be this good every year. Like,
it might be. It
might be.
To make it. It might be, but man, you
right.
really set that bar pretty high that year.
Yeah. So I mean, it's changed, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like the old gang getting back together. There's a lot of friends, as we've gotten older, we have kids, so we don't get out as much, but that's usually like the one time a year where we are guaranteed to see, everybody that we've been friends with for, 20 plus years, or no, I guess right at 20 years now.
The old kickball crew. Yeah, we're coming.
Exactly.
20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
About 20
yeah,
years.
2001. So,
it's a good thing nothing else happened that year. It really is. We had kickball and Dragon Con, and absolutely nothing else happened.
Nothing else at all. Yeah. So, I mean, that's in my head. That's kind of what Dragon Con has changed quite a bit just as a convention, and so you have to kind of change with it. It's grown exponentially. So, the days of the room parties and not having a lot of people out and about and only being in a couple of hotels are long gone. And
those nights come a lot earlier now. It's most of us, I won't say everybody, but for most of us, those nights end a lot earlier. Do you have any Dragon Con secret tips that you'd like to share with the podcasting world?
One thing that we did for a lot of years to avoid the crowds at checkout, because we did start, even though we live like maybe 3 miles from the hotel, we do have a hotel room. But for a lot of years, we did like late night checkout on Sunday night. So like 2 in the morning. Yeah. So at 2:30 in the morning, we'd finish whatever we were doing that night, go back to the room, and already have everything packed, call a cab and go home. And we'd have a cab within minutes, be able to walk right out, not have any wait whatsoever on the concierge, and woke up the next morning at home in our own bed.
And then you have the day off after that too.
And then you have the day off. And a lot of times we were having to go pick up the kids from grandparents, and, gave us time to kind of recover. So that was a big thing for us for a lot of years, was the early checkout. Because
pretty smart. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that check out on Monday and they end up waiting for hours for the buggy to come get their stuff, and then it's a long wait for the cab, and they try and check out at like 10 and they don't leave until 2 or 3
with everybody else.
Everybody.
I have never, all these years of going to Dragon Con, I have never been there late on Monday. I've never stayed to like, any closing ceremonies or what have you, but I've been curious. I kind of want to see it. Like
we usually would leave on Mondays, because that's just, we'd bring the kids down. The last few years we brought them down on Sundays and stayed Sunday nights. And it's weird because people are they're still going. They're still 100% full cosplay, on like Monday at 11:30, and I love it. I think that's awesome. That's a level of dedication that I do not have.
Right. And I think that's really showed you how big it had gotten Whereas, before it seemed like the cosplay was mainly at night, but I remember that first year at like 9 a.m. in line to pick up my badge, on like a Thursday, and someone's in full makeup, full like wings, whatever the hell, they got going on. It's like, Jesus Christ, how early did you wake up?
Yeah. It's changed a lot since we started going with you guys in 2000, but I started going before that. And when it was odd to see somebody in a costume. I mean, there was no, we didn't call it cosplay. We were like, oh, that guy's dressed up as a stormtrooper. And it was literally like a Halloween costume, but people were taking his picture like, this guy dressed up, and it was only at night. It was never during the day. It was it's changed a lot, man. It's changed a lot. Well, you said, like we've talked about, that Dragoncon has changed a lot over the years, and it's twisted and become, it was rows and rows of long boxes, maybe some toys, into this, media event, cosplay, famous people. Do you have any celebrity encounters? Anything memorable?
I would gotta say George Perez by far. If you told me that I would randomly run into George Perez every year for like 7 years in a row, just walking the hallways or in the lobby, get to, hang out with him for 2 seconds, get a photo with him, it would have blown my mind. He's been one of my favorite comic book artists of all time, and just an incredibly nice and sweet man. He just so willing to give like his time, and but yeah, it's probably like I've lost count how many years in a row, like on a Thursday when we first get there and get checked in, that I'll randomly just run into him in the lobby or the Sky Bridge, and he's more than happy to take a picture.
Does he recognize you?
No.
Okay.
No, but the first year I met him, I even warned him. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm not feeling good. I think I got some of the con crud. I want to keep my distance. Can I get a photo? But just you stay over there, I'll stay over here." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Put his arm around my neck, went cheek to cheek, and then that was our photo. So that was the first time I ever met him. So I think that just still blows my mind that I've met him that many times.
Excellent. Do you have a favorite overall moment of the con, or anything that happened that was just always will stick out to you?
It's tough, man. It's 19 years, 18 years of going. So I will say there's two with the two of you guys. One is because it has gotten so crazy. One of my favorite Saturdays has been more of a quiet Saturday, where Keith, you and I, we went and hung out in Dave's room, just the three of us, and just hung out. Keith was cosplaying as a G.I. Joe, so he was shaved bald, which is easy to do, and had a big black mustache. And I can't remember which one of us pointed out. We're like, "Hey, you kind of look like Steve Harvey." And then we decided to put Dave's purple suit on Keith. And my all-time favorite picture of Keith is in the purple suit and tie, looking like Steve Harvey. I think the other one that's...
You really did, man.
Have you ever seen that photo?
Oh yeah, I was sitting across from him at dinner, and I secretly snapped a photo. I think I sent it to you, Keith, so it wasn't like I was being sketchy or anything, but you really were Steve Harvey, man. It was great. It was awesome. It was amazingly, like, your bazooka cosplay, your G.I. Joe cosplay was money. It was on the nose, fantastic. But just when they said Steve Harvey, I could not.
Yeah, it was.
It was great. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I think my other favorite moment, one of them, the countless ones, is Pete, the year that we managed to talk our way into the wrestling ring. And they were dumb enough to let us get in the wrestling ring. So we did exactly what you would think. So you and I locked eyes, bounced off the ring, and then did a double clothesline with both of us falling feet up, flat on our backs. And they proceeded to scream at us and try and kick us out of the room and threaten to take our badges.
I think
But
they thought we were just going to take a picture, and I'm like, what did you think we were going to do, man?
Yeah, we're in the ring. What are we? What else?
Screaming for the last 2 hours and throwing breakfast cereal everywhere. We're not just doing that.
So those are, you know, two great
memories.
memories that you guys were involved in. You know, microchips also stands out.
The sparks. Everybody's lips were orange.
Yeah, dude, that
It was just like everybody, all the photos when they come back.
For those that don't know, in the times before Four Loco, we had Sparks, which
And
was
the aughts.
original. Yeah, which was the original caffeine fueled booze, and like we got it for free for some reason. I don't even remember why. We got a bunch of it and we drank that stuff like we had a death wish.
Ugh.
And it really did work. It was full on. It's like you couldn't die because you had so much energy and so much alcohol coursing through your veins. And in hindsight, it was not good at all for any of us, but that was a wild year.
Yeah, no,
wild year.
I used to say Sparks was a cruel mistress because whatever energy and fun it gave you, it took back in spades the following day.
Tenfold, yeah.
Yeah,
Everything came out orange.
it was some rough mornings. But at the time, that night was a lot of fun and lots of late nights and good times.
We were young and dumb, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Excellent. Jay, anything else on Dragoncon? Thoughts, feelings, thoughts about this year?
A little nervous. You know, we are going. We have our tickets. We have our room reservation. You know, we stay at the Hyatt, which does the
You got Legacy.
thing where you're the Legacy, where you're automatically booked for the following year. So I haven't decided how much I'm going to get out yet. I'm definitely going to go check in for sure, just to confirm that our room is there next year.
Hey, if you're not going to use that room on a Saturday night, I know a guy will pay for it.
Okay. No, I mean, I think, well, even if I don't get out much, I'll probably still just, hang out in the room and watch some Dragoncon TV. I'm sure I'll get out for a bit here and there, but definitely going to be avoiding the Sky Bridge.
Yeah.
I don't know how many panels I'm going to go to, if at all.
I think it's going to take a little while for everybody to kind of get the flow of how things are going to work.
We just got done talking to Jay, and coming up next we have Schweck.
Schweck is, of course, a veteran of Dragoncon, longer than Jay, and he's been there. He's been there quite a while. Schweck, what was your very first Dragoncon?
I was trying to think of that the other day. I think it's 96.
Wow.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
It was 96, 97, but that was back, obviously not staying in hotels and any of that. It's like a Saturday day night kind of thing.
It was more of a 2-day convention back then. I mean, it wasn't what it is now.
Yeah, there was certainly nobody there on Thursday or Wednesday or anything like that. Probably 96, 97. I missed some years in there, and like 99 to 2002, I didn't go because of camp. But other than that, I've been there every year otherwise.
God, what was the difference like now? As in the way it is now, it's just 4 hotels and just packed out. How like
it was,
I can't even, I'm trying to wrap my head around it right now. I was just sitting there thinking about it. I started going like 2001, 2002.
Well, we had a pool that was usable. And it was one hotel. That was it. Nights were very different. It was all in one hotel.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't spread out. I mean, the hotels were there, and I'm sure that people stayed at them, but Dragoncon was pretty much kept in one spot. And there weren't the evening events that there are now. There was Dragoncon After Dark, which basically after 9 p.m., literally anything goes.
Wild sex shows, what it was.
Oh, it really was. It was just boobs and butts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. I mean, that's you went to Dragoncon, you knew what it was. When the sun went down, you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, and it wasn't Labor Day. It was like it was June or something.
Yeah, it was super hot. I remember that. But yeah, it wasn't Labor Day. It got moved to Labor Day weekend when they wanted to expand the days.
Mhm.
But it
I
was
think it had to do with the Olympics too. Like something about the Olympics made them move originally.
could have been. Sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, way smaller. Oh,
Yeah.
so much smaller.
It's a lot less people too. And the people that were there weren't just, they weren't there to flaunt their costumes and do all of that. They were there for DragonCon to
Mhm.
go to panels, to meet these people, to find comics and art and stuff like that.
Yeah, cosplay has really taken over DragonCon,
Yeah.
which is fine. I think they go a little overboard sometimes with how much space they take up and how much they think they're the center of the world.
I do still want to do my Death Star and just have a bunch of people dressed as X-Wings come and run into me. But so what does DragonCon mean to you specifically? You're a vet. You're an old soul at DragonCon. What does it mean to you?
I think it's changed over the years. Like really those early years were a lot, and it still is, but it was all about just hanging out and, drinking and doing whatever. And then I guess as the years go by, we started going to more panels and stuff like that. But I mean, I really think it's still just a time to, hang out with people for a weekend, not at home and be somewhere else now, which is nice.
Yeah. Do you have any secret tips that you want to share with the podcast verse?
Let's see. It's one of those ones where you want to tell people about the con suite, but you don't want to tell people about the con suite. So they,
what's the best meal you ever had at the con suite?
Oh, I don't know. I definitely had grilled cheese one night at like 2 a.m. That probably saved my life. For those who don't know, the con suite's a room.
Let him find it.
It's a room. It's somewhere you can find it. But they have food 24 hours a day.
Food and drink.
Yeah.
Mixers.
Popcorn.
Popcorn and bags of chips. Yeah.
And I don't know if they do anymore, but you used to be able to time it right and get Subway. And that was the best. If you could time Subway. They started a few years ago, which I really appreciated. I guess it was a Facebook group, I think, and they would announce when the food changes. You could just watch it. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. The con suite's really, that's one of my favorites. I don't know any other tips. Those people talk about that stupid, what's the rule they all try to talk about with sleep and showers, and there's some numbers they're always talking about. I don't know. It's like 2 meals, 3 hours of sleep, or 4 hours, and whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Just do what you want to.
Yeah.
Make sure you drink some water.
It's 4 days. Yeah. You're hydrated.
You got to hydrate. That's the biggest thing. You got to hydrate. And, there's nothing wrong with having a beer at 10 a.m. as long as you're drinking water all day. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I always suggest Jill too. Like, I don't think a lot of people go to some of like the smaller panels. You can catch some really good guests in some of the weird smaller panels. And I hate that some of that, what was that old track? I think they still have the Skeptics track, right?
Yeah.
But they used to have like crazy, like conspiracy tracks and stuff.
And it was always in the same dark hallways, the anime movies in the middle of the night. Yeah. Just the old creepy DragonCon was best DragonCon.
It really was.
Because you'd go through those just rooms downstairs, and they would either be completely empty with like 4 people sleeping in them, or weird anime, completely undubbed, no subtitles, like straight off the boat anime, and just other weird tinfoil hat stuff going on in the bowels of hotels.
I love the signage for that, because you'd walk down there and you would see like a dry erase board, and just just written in here and have whatever title, come on in.
They used to have those awesome, like the tracks would have bands in those rooms. Yeah. I miss that. That used to be really fun. You'd just be walking, all of a sudden you'd hear like a band down a weird hallway, and you'd be like, oh, what is this? And we went in one time and they were doing like covers of video game songs, and then there's like a dude in like full knight armor dancing around. And
that'll be I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that night guy.
It was a knight, and then there was like a guy dressed as a businessman, and he had like a briefcase. I don't know what it was.
That might have just been a tourist. That might have been a guy going to a meeting. So do you've been going for a while, and obviously it's changed quite a bit. Do you have any good celebrity encounters? I mean, Dragoncon has gone from a comic book to a media thing. Any celebrity encounters? Any good ones?
Ones I've like run into. I ran into Summer Glau once in the lobby of the Marriott. She was really nice, and I think her security. I of course have been drinking all day, and I think her security was about to take me out, and then she's like, "No, no, no," and then she came and talked, and she was really nice. Who else have I talked to in person that was really nice? We rode. Well, that was last Dragoncon. We rode the elevator with what's her name? Jewel.
Yeah.
Oh, just Slate.
Slately, yeah.
The super secret elevator.
Yeah, that's another one. Shh, don't talk about the super.
Don't talk about super secret elevator.
Yeah.
No, especially this year. Don't talk about super secret elevators.
Yeah, who else have I met that was really nice?
Neville Longbottom. We drank with him.
God, that was hilarious. Did y'all talk about that with Jay?
No.
Oh, that's so funny. So where were we? We were in the Marriott, and he was standing there. And I remember he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he was real nice.
Having a beer with us. But like these girls kept coming up in like slutty Hogwarts uniforms. And like,
wasn't it before he like got like, I guess hot, like before he like had his glow up or whatever? I think
he was still tall. He was way taller than I thought he would be. But I mean, these girls were like throwing themselves at him. And I remember asking, I was like, man, does that happen a lot? And he was like, oh, all the time. And he was like,
it's a rough life you got there, pal.
Yeah. And then we saw the girl crying outside later because he wouldn't like go back to her hotel room or something.
Lots of Dragoncon tears over the years.
Yeah. It's always funny to see and it always seems to be in the mortar pool of the Marriott. The turnaround. There's always like someone sitting on the fountain by themselves crying for some reason.
Smoking a clove or just doing that. I liked hanging out with the time we drank with Pete Hornberger. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty nice.
Well, we did. There was one night when they were doing karaoke at the Hilton down in the lobby when it was still down there, and it was like a bunch of people from Smallville were there, and then Christopher Lloyd came, and Christopher Lloyd passed out in a chair.
Right
and
on.
So like there was like the definite like discussion, like I really want a picture with Christopher Lloyd passed out in a chair, but I don't really want to do that. I feel bad about it.
Ethically, should I do this? Yeah,
you know, just take a little nap. It's fine.
Yeah. We all need a rest at DragonCon from time to time.
Yeah. I've definitely slept in some panels before.
Yeah. I may have taken a little nap in those bowels of the hotel before.
That's the nice thing about having a hotel now. You can just go back up and pass out when you need to for a little while.
I may have taken a $112 cab ride from DragonCon before.
Yep. God.
So what about your favorite overall moment of all the DragonCons you've been to? Is there one definitive favorite moment that you have?
I think panel wise, I think the last time Carrie Fisher came.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was such a good panel. And it was like early Sunday morning, like it was one of the first ones. And she was just like the best like panelist and like getting people to like chant and do all sorts of funny stuff. So it was really cool like seeing her.
That's pretty memorable. That's a pretty memorable DragonCon experience.
Yeah. And
so
you just okay.
Oh, you got to go sit in that panel because I remember I remember sitting in the hotel room watching that one on a rerun. One of the better panels that I've seen.
Yeah, that was one of those ones I definitely woke up and dragged myself hungover.
Nice.
But yeah, it was an amazing panel. And then all the old room parties, which I guess don't happen as much anymore, or we just don't go look for them like we used to.
I don't think we. I bet they still do.
I don't think they're like they used to be though. Like
the
old Klingon ones that were just pure
insanity. And as I have always said and will maintain, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but the Klingons put on a very nice spread. They had food out, like good food too. Like like lunch meats and vegetables.
Yeah.
And I'll always remember for some reason boiled eggs. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a plate of just boiled eggs. And I was
That
like,
was a
what?
Sparks year. That was a
Well,
Sparks.
no,
It
they-
sure was.
But those boiled eggs, they had them like dyed, like
Yeah.
they were like dyed like brownish, like they look like dragon
and
eggs. Or something. I don't-
and I've said because Star Trek fans tend to be older and like they've been around for a minute, and this is they were at DragonCon at the beginning, so their room parties have evolved with them.
Mhm.
So they get a little money, they get a little old, they're not throwing the wild parties, but man, they put on a good spread. They had
Yeah.
good food, and I think they were annoyed that we were there,
Oh, I absolutely think
Yeah.
they were. And
but they
Yeah.
were cool about it. They were
they were very nice about it.
They had tarp, clear plastic tarp all over the floor and ceiling
Smart.
and walls.
that's
Like,
smart.
it was like that plastic. I remember noticing that because I think I remember going up there with everyone like up there, and I wasn't as drunk as everybody else. Like, I was kind of like handling, I think,
I just want to thank you for that, Keith, because
Yeah.
probably
but
pointed us in the right
they
direction.
were like, I was Schweck. I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound mean or anything like that, but you did have a line that I quote sometimes to people when they're talking Klingon, but when they kind of ask us to leave,
Mhm.
and you went,
I don't
you
remember
went-
getting asked to leave.
yeah, and then you
We
went,
were asleep.
you went, shock. That means your party's lame. And like and we were like, I was like, okay, guys, we gotta go. We gotta go.
We gotta go.
Push it.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, dude, it was great because it was shock.
I found nobody likes it when you say that to them, like at all. When you start like yelling the one Klingon thing I know at people, they don't like it. It feel like it doesn't matter who they are. When you start saying like "Chak, chak, chak," they get very like, and maybe that's like by design for the Klingon language, but I don't know. Chak, chak.
It was awesome though. It was
Yeah.
good times.
It was good times. We
Yeah.
it is a very different con we attend now
Yeah.
than it was.
And it's a shame too, because like, when we talk about the room parties, because there was other ones that we all went to that I remember there was one when there was a guy sitting outside the door letting people in at one at a time. That was a Sparks year. And I
Right.
remember when we all got in there, only a certain amount of people could be in the room. And I turned around and looked, and it was just all of us.
Yeah.
It was only us in someone else's room. And we were like, and it was
We should ask them to leave.
Well, was that the one we kicked the DJ out? We were like, you suck. We're gonna do this now.
Maybe.
And they had somebody like set up with like a little DJ system and stuff. We were like, yeah, move it and start DJ.
I'm pretty sure that's the year that Noel wanted to fight the cat boy too.
Oh God. Oh, but yeah, but now like, like I guess either we just never gone looking up or y'all like, gone looking up for parties up there, or does it
I
happen
definitely-
anymore?
I think it's less because you used to be able to see it. You used to be able to like
Yeah.
stand in the Hyatt and
And
look
see the
out
parties.
and see where the parties were, and that's how we would find them. And you just don't see those lines anymore. I guess the hotel probably cracked down on those a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they're very it's their own friends. They're having a room
Mhm.
party, but it's their own crew, and they're not inviting random
Yeah.
people.
Well, and those bigger ones, like there's like alcohol tastings.
Yeah.
There's the pie tastings, the bunny hutch. All those started as room parties.
Yeah.
And now the hotel will give you space and a place to do it. I guess to keep you out of rooms and have
That makes
big
sense.
parties like that. I mean, that bunny hutch has gotten so big that
Yeah, that's the big Friday night party now. Is
What is
everybody
that?
goes-
I don't know what that one is. What's the bunny? hutch?
Yeah, bunny ears and a bunny. You basically turn anything you're wearing into a Playboy bunny outfit.
Oh.
So if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you throw bunny ears on and a bunny tail, and
Oh,
you
okay.
go to the bunny hutch.
yeah. But people make like real like serious bunny hutch costumes now. And there's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like a contest and all sorts of stuff. I've never actually gone to it.
No, I always say, oh, I'm gonna go to the bunny hutch this year, and then
Yeah. It's like kilt blowing. I always
Yeah.
think I'm gonna go to kilt blowing, and then I just never do.
but that was started out as another, and that's kind of cool that we get to witness this evolution of DragonCon, that all of this stuff started as like crazy rambunctious, like the people that go to it now would have never imagined, a bunch of people throwing up outside the room, and this is what it turned into. They get a ballroom on a Friday night and 1,000 people go into it. I think that's
Mhm.
really cool. I like that DragonCon evolves every single year. San Diego is non-existent pretty much anymore, but DragonCon is ever changing. And even last year with with COVID and everything and everybody canceling everything, DragonCon kind of set the bar with how it should be done. And they did it on the fly. And I thought that was
Yeah.
awesome. And it was really, really good content. So much so as they're bringing it in this year to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, we talked about that on Dave's podcast, how, DragonCon got it all up and running and their virtual content was super successful. And San Diego's was awful. And how San Diego couldn't get it right 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
They did it again this year. And
I kind of gave them, a pass on 2020. They got dropped in the middle of it. I completely understand that. But like you said on the Needless Things podcast, it was virtually, I had no idea San Diego was happening until it was over. And I started seeing things that this was discussed at virtual San Diego. And I was like, I thought they weren't doing it this year, or they moved it to Thanksgiving or something, or I don't know.
A few of the virtual panels last year for American Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
And they were fun. Like, it's just like this we did them over Zoom, and it's kind of changed a lot how some of the tracks are doing things. The Sci-Fi Classics, they're doing virtual panels every Thursday now.
That's cool. Yeah.
And they've done them all year.
And DragonCon's bringing their virtual stuff back this year, and it's even better. It's you got to pay for it, but that's fine. It's what is it, like $5 to
$10?
Yeah, to get all of the virtual content of the con. So if you can't go, or you've never been to DragonCon, or just are interested in one panel, $10 is easy money. Just good for DragonCon. Good for DragonCon.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
I'll say, is it going to come with the commercials too? And the
it does.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
love-
whole so when you get the app for it, there's
DCTV.
different feeds, and one of them is DCTV, and it's just, you can turn it on. And I totally did it last weekend, or last year, all weekend. We would turn it on the vintage DCTV in our bedroom. So at night, when we were going to sleep, we had some people came to our house. I was just having that background, that doom, 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 that sound that they make on the DragonCon TV at night. So that was fun. I've had some conversations with Rachel about like how it's changed and stuff. And, there's no way I could do Rachel's job. Like, no one's ever 100% happy. And Rachel's the president of DragonCon that I'm friends with. And she said, they struggled between like kind of some old school DragonCon people not liking some of the changes that they made, particularly when they planned family friendly focus. And that was part of kind of the rebranding and all that stuff. And she said that was pretty hard. And you're never going to make everybody happy. Not when it gets to whatever it is now, 85,000 people.
Right.
4 hotels.
Yeah.
And counting. I mean, those are just the host hotels. There's all the other hotels that are involved in it. So what do you think it's going to be like this year?
I don't know. We know it's going to be 55% capacity.
Yeah. No Saturday badges.
Yeah. They're going to block the parade off.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I think they're just saying, they're just saying that, so nobody will show up. How?
They're working with Atlanta police. It's going to be like when they do a festival or whatever. So they'll block the streets. It'll be significantly smaller. The footprint of it is way smaller, and it'll have gates like you do. I mean, there's obviously going to be ways to get in. You can go through an office building or whatever, but it'll probably be enough to keep a lot of people away.
I mean, they've pretty much said, don't come, watch it on CBS, which I think is good. I think that's awesome, that they're actually getting it out there and all that. So I don't know.
And we'll see. Everything's changing so fast. Who knows what it'll be in 2 weeks? They'll have to change things again. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to it being a little smaller.
As I get older, I'm kind of like, oh, it's 50%. Yeah, I can get on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Marriott's gotten kind of miserable on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not even worth going out to hang out because it's just wall to wall people.
It'll be an interesting event this year, and and I guess the arcade's being moved off site to Agatha's.
Yeah, and I hate Tokyo Attack, who brought all the Japanese games, they closed
Yep.
over the pandemic. The guy just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. So it's just going to be joystick, which is great. The joystick stuff's cool, but that means no Scotto,
Yeah.
which is not great.
Well,
I tried to look
well,
up how
so-
much a Scotto machine costs if I could own one, and they're like $10,000.
You get there. I think you could make it happen. I think you could make it happen.
We were trying to figure out how we could build a Scotto machine.
It's doable. You get a Raspberry Pi. You know enough smart people to make that happen.
It's doable.
Well, where can we find you when you're not running the minds of young children?
So I co-host Execute Chapter 66, a Star Wars fiction podcast. We do legacy and canon books, a new one every 2 weeks. And then you can find us at Dragoncon. We will have panels on the American Sci-Fi Classics track. I know we're doing 25th anniversary of Shadows of the Empire. And I think we might jump on the Queen's Peril, Queen's Hope. It's a series of books by E.K. Johnson for the Star Wars track. So, but definitely on American Sci-Fi Classics, we'll be down there.
Excellent. All right. Well, cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming by.
Oh, thanks for coming by.
Good to be here.
And that's that.
The clown is down. Stay hydrated.
All right, now, Clown is Down wishes you a safe and happy Dragoncon. But other than bringing a water bottle, please bring your patience because there's going to be a lot of people there. Everybody wants a photo and everybody needs to get somewhere. Just keep that in mind. Be safe, be patient, and don't be stupid. And have a good time. Oh, and beware of the con crud.